Hey, welcome back. Today I'm going to be setting up my passport size bullet journal for the month of September today. I've been bouncing between a passport bullet journal and a pocket size Return 1917, and I asked my patrons which they would rather see me set up on camera, and the passport one. I will likely set up both, so my pocket setup will probably make an appearance either on Instagram or in an upcoming Scribble log if you are still interested in that size. But I've had sort of a renewed love for the passport the last couple weeks, so I'm looking forward to setting this up. And before we do that, quick shameless plug, I have created a Patreon, so if you're interested in supporting me or checking that out, I will link that down below. I've got a couple different tiers. The first tier is a content tier, so I do some exclusive videos, posts, and you could vote on polls like this one to see which one I'm gonna set up for a month. And my second tier has some doodle perks along with access to all that content, and all tiers get access to my link library, which is where I'm doing my best to link all the products that I talk about in any of my social media posts, including here on YouTube. So anyway, just wanted to kind of shout myself out there if you want to check that out. Okay, so this is my Travelers Company Passport in Brown. It is probably my favorite Travelers Company cover at this point. I really love the texture. I've got a charm on here from Baumkuchen. This is the Ichigo charm, and on a red elastic that came with my black passport. But while I'm setting up for the month of September, I thought it would be helpful to kind of go through what my planning routine is on a monthly basis, because I do the same things each month, no matter what planner I am in. And I don't think I've done like an updated routine video, so I thought today would be a good time to do that. I don't often take my inserts out of my passport when I set anything up, but when I do a monthly setup, I kind of like to pull it apart, and I get asked a lot about how all of this fits in the string, so I thought I would just show you quickly. I do use the jump band. I like the jump bands because the inserts wiggle a little bit less on them because it's rubber versus string, and I just use the ones from Travelers Company. I've got a my first insert is my annual book, and that has a clear zipper case on here. This is from Travelers Company. And then I have an olive cloth zipper case, again from Travelers Company, wrapped around my second insert, and then I put this whole thing under the middle string. So that is how my planner is set up. So I'm just going to pull out my paper inserts, and then we'll talk about my routine and get some pen to paper here. Okay, so this is my current month, the month of August, and I do have September set up. I draw out all my monthly calendars at the beginning of the insert so I can pre-plan. So there's already some events and stuff sprinkled in here, but my to-do list is relatively blank. I've got one thing that I've brainstormed and it's not decoed, which is more or less how my monthlies kind of start out. So let's talk about what I do every month. The first thing I do is I actually look at my goals. So I'm using the Cultivate What Matters Power Sheets for 2022. And this is my second full year using them. I do quite like them. I actually have knocked out all of my non-fitness related goals. I had 7 goals for the year. 3 of them were fitness related, 4 of them were not, and I've completed all 4 of my non-fitness related goals. So this last 4 months of the year, I'm really just going to try and dial in things like my fitness and my health a little bit more than I have throughout the rest of the year. But I always start with checking my goals first, because that helps me identify, do I have any big monthly projects that I need to tackle that are goal related? Do I need to set up any new habit trackers, for example? And what does my focus need to be on? What kind of visual reminders do I need to set up in my planner so that I can be in tune with those and hopefully making progress on them? Fitness goals are always the hardest for me because they feel so ambiguous, but at the same time, I know that I could up how I put things in my planner, which will help me kind of stay focused on taking care of myself a little bit better than I have. So that is the first thing that I did. I did that off camera. I just review my goal stuff. I think I will order these again for 2023 when they come out. I really wish they would do a digital version because this thing is massive. It's a 8.5 by 11, and I'm a passport size planner, so it's just kind of ridiculous. But I really like the prep work, and they have helped me with my goals for the last couple years. Okay, so I've written my goals off camera. The main thing I'm kind of focusing on this month is my meal planning and my steps. I'm just trying to be more active. So I'm going to set up some sort of step tracker in my planner. I'll probably do that in my other insert, not in this monthly one, but I've identified my goals, so now I can move on to the next step in my planning routine. And that is starting to get this guy filled out, my monthly task list. So when I fill this out, I do a couple of things. First thing I do is I check my previous month and I say, okay, what on here have I not knocked off that I would need to migrate forward? I'm filming this on the 20th, so I have like a week to knock out some of these. I'll probably get this done this weekend. I have to get that done this weekend. This one I could probably migrate, and this one I have to do before the 1st. So I'm just gonna push this one forward. And I'm just gonna draw an arrow to show that I migrated this. It has a subtask under it. So I'm gonna go ahead and move those over. The next thing that I do is I'm going to check my adulting log. So one of my collections in the back here is essentially a monthly checklist of cleaning tasks and like adulting type of things that aren't automated. So I'm just going to kind of quickly glance through here and see what have I not done yet in August that I probably need to prioritize in September. The first half here is kind of like monthly reoccurring cleaning routine, so I don't really need to write that down. Looks like I need a new toothbrush head, but I don't need to write that in on my monthly. I'll just do that today. Air filter, I already migrated from my previous month, and ice maker, we're good. Smoke detector, we're good. I am getting my hair colored, but that's an appointment, so I don't need to write that down. Oil change, we still have a few more months before I would really consider getting that done. And really the big thing to start thinking about is my husband's car registration is coming up, and we're doing a state transfer with that, so might write that one down just to kind of continue to dig into. I'm going to use a B signifier. My husband's name is Brandon, so that just lets me know it's more like his thing, but I'm going to help him remind him of it. Jeep plates. Yeah. Okay. So check my adulting log, migrated from the previous month. Then I'll kind of go and look forward. Is there anything like the first week here that I need to keep in mind? Just so that once I flip the page to October, I'm not surprised. So birthday, I've got a work project deadline, but nothing that I would do any differently here these last couple weeks before we go. I have a lot of travel coming up in September. We're visiting family for a couple weeks here, and then visiting a different set of family again later in the month. So I'm not home a ton, so I'm not going to have a lot of home related tasks that I want to queue up for this month. I tried to get a lot of that stuff done in August, but otherwise it's going to have to be October, I think, looking at this. So then one of the things that I'm doing a little bit differently, I said that workouts and nutrition is kind of one of my big goals for this last remaining portion of the year. I actually drafted up a workout schedule, and I'm thinking of plugging it in here, but I think what I want to do is, instead of writing out every single workout, because these are quite small spaces, I think I'm going to use like a mile liner to color code my workout days and do that. And then same thing with my content. I've been creating a content schedule. I'm doing both those things in Notion. I'm like a novice at Notion, but thinking of adding those things in as well. So now that we more or less have stuff in here, I want to kind of deco my monthly next, and then I'll decide how I want to do that workout log so I can kind of see the different colors, so I can see what my schedule is. It's pretty consistent, but it's going to shift a little bit just based off travel. So let me figure out how I want to deco my month. We'll do that, and then I'll choose the colors that I want to log my workout routine in. Okay, that took me a little bit longer than I thought it would, but now that I've got this in here, I'm going to stick with my zebra mild liners. This is the natural palette that came out in 2022, and I'm going to use this to mark content and my workout stuff. I do 2 types of workouts, or at least that's the plan for this current month, and then content wise I've got YouTube, Patreon, and Instagram. And my YouTube I will write in because I like to see the video titles, but I think I might write in my Patreon ones as well because I need to remember the titles because I've got to like write those posts and film those videos. So maybe I'll just mark Instagram days with one color, and then I will mark my workouts in with another. I'm really feeling this copper rust color, and then this brown. I'm ready for fall, so I think that's what we're gonna do. Alright, so I had to go off on my phone to pull up my content calendar. This is why I don't do digital planning, guys. But I filled in my YouTube schedule, my Patreon schedule, and then I've marked in my workouts. So I think we're good there. I kind of want to color code Patreon, but I'm going to leave this as is because it's starting to look a little bit full and I don't want to overwhelm myself. So this is pretty much my monthly spread done. So now we're going to move on to the next insert, but I'm going to leave this open and out so I can reference it, which is something I actually really like about being in strings because it's similar to ring planning where I could just like pull my monthly out and reference it while I filled in / set up my weeklies. So this is my annual book or my quarterly book. If you have not seen my passport setup video, I can link it up in the cards if you want to check that out. But this is where my weekly and daily logs live along with short-term lists. So nothing that I would need beyond the current quarter lives in this particular book. This is my 3rd insert that I've used for the year. So I mentioned earlier that one of my goals is fitness related for the rest of the year. So I have another one of these printed out. I'm not done with this one. I was using this as a no spend tracker. This is from Perpetual Plans on Instagram. It's like linked in her bio, or it was linked in her bio. I guess I'm not sure if it's still there. But I did a no spend and I put stickers down. These stickers are from Randy.plans. So once I finish this for September and October, I'm going to track my steps this way because I've got some more of these tiny stickers from Randy that I want to use up. So I'll just flip this out with a different one. So I'll keep that tracker going. I'm not going to do that now though because I still need to try not to spend any money here. So let me move on to more or less where I think we're going to be. So I average 2 days per page, and it's the 20th. And I will move at the end of the week, so I only need to make it to the 28th. Okay. So 22, 24, 26, 28. I might need a list in between. Yep. Okay. So I already put that in here. So this is where I'm going to start setting up for September. And the first thing I do is put in a mood board. I do my mood boards the same way. I find images on Pinterest, on Unsplash, sometimes Instagram, sometimes from my own camera roll, and I put them in Canva and I print them out. My printer can print on 3.5 by 5 inch paper, so I just trim down sticker paper to 3.5 by 5 inch, and I trim that down a little bit further so it'll fit a little bit nicer in the passport size. But I really like a mood board. I'm a very visual person, and I found that since I've done the mood boards, I've done better with my goals this year. So that's been a fun realization to, like, I guess it's just motivating to me. So I'm really in like the spooky vibe season. I'm not one for summer. I'm like moved directly to fall. So you can kind of see that here. So I've got like this little tea light. I actually really want to order them, but they're like $50 a pop on Etsy. But my goals are really just to like move more and get outside more. So that is kind of why I've got like the trees and stuff. And then I've been really into passport size and I want to stick with it. So that is that. And then I get my hair colored this month and I get it cut, and I like this cut. My printer did not do a great job with the colors, it kind of blew them out, but that's okay. It gets the job done. All right, so there's my mood board in. I put my writing board behind it because that helps kind of smooth the page out so I get less bubbles. The sticker paper I use is from Online Labels. It's like the weatherproof matte, and they kind of go, which is what I'm going for. I want them to kind of work together. Okay, so then I usually leave the page next to that as an inbox for the month. So if I want to make any notes or anything like that, I might print off another habit tracker, we will see. But from here, the next step is to set up my weeklies. Okay, so I set up all my weeklies at once. I've kind of locked in on a spread that I like. I do a week at a glance, a habit tracker, and then any kind of list that I need throughout the month. Each week is 4x4, and I think these are like 11 across. I'll see, I'll kind of mark this out here in a second, but I usually start with my habit tracker and then do this. And I like setting up all my weeklies at once because it just makes using my planner so much easier. So I'm gonna speed through this and set up all, I guess 5 weeks of September. Next thing I'll do is I'm going to look at my monthly, and I will transfer my concrete appointments down into the weeklies so that I don't have to think about them, and they'll be there ready to go. So I'm going to get that kind of moved in. I'll date my stuff here, and then the final step is really just to do a glance through of the previous month and start migrating tasks into these weeklies that maybe I haven't done. So let me again put on some music, and I'll get stuff transferred. Alright, so that is my monthly routine done. Real time, this took me 36 minutes, the camera says. Obviously I'll have edited it down. Most of that time was honestly just deciding how I wanted to deco my monthly. I think I lost like 15 minutes just going back and forth on that. And I don't know. I could have had a plan. It probably would have went faster if I knew what I wanted, but I mean, that's half the fun, is just figuring out how you want to deco things. So I'm going to put this back together, and then I'll do a quick overview, and we will call it a day.